All right, y'all. We give praise, esteem, and honor to the living Elohim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach today. Pick this up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures. For in them you think you have eternal life. They are they which testify of me. You and I come to me that you might have life. I receive none from man, but I know you. You have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, you receive me not. Notice I come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I've accused you. The Abba, there's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote them. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? Praise be to the living Elohim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Psalms 1. Psalms 1. Shalom, sir. The reason why we're going to take this tractor in Psalms 1 is because I have something specifically to lead us into Pentecost. And yeah, that's what that is. So it's probably going to start getting mixed in now. And I find it funny. Well, not even funny. Let me say apropos, ironic, serendipity, if you will, that somebody left a comment. Because I don't really be checking them YouTube notifications unless I get on here. Even though the channel is synced to my phone, I don't really be checking it. I ain't gonna lie to you. Because it just don't come to mind and be like, oh, let me look at YouTube notifications. I'm just not that pressed to do that. Nevertheless, somebody commented on Deuteronomy 28:68. The video we did, and we did that video like 4 or 5 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. It was definitely a good long season ago. And he commented on there, this brother is lost. Well, if he thought that was a doozy, wait till he sees what we have in store now. Psalms 1 and 1. Baruch is the man that walked not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stand in the way of sinners, nor sit in the seat of the scornful. First things first, because we want to be as specific as possible. Atzah for counsel. Y'all know what it is. That's counsel. That's advice. That's purpose. Somebody who is trying to tell you that they have experience in the way of the Son of Elohim. But see, let's take a look at something. I want you to come to the epistle of Titus. This is something that you go a lot of brews that want to give some counsel. He told you don't take the counsel of the ungodly now. Now we're going to look at the definition of the ungodly. Oh, that was a while back. Well, goes to show I really don't look. Someone who is hostile against Elohim, someone who is guilty of sin against Elohim. Now, I said I was going to go to Titus, but now I need to come to John chapter 7 on general principles. So let's make that detour. It's a couple fragrances out of the scene that they say smell like a mojito. And I must find one that replicates that and replicates that perfectly. 7 and 14. Now, about the midst of the feast, Yahushua went up into the temple and taught. The Yahudi marveled, saying, how know this man letters, having never learned? If any man would do his will, he shall know of the doctrine, whether it be of Elohim or whether I speak of myself. That's one of the first things you're going to have to look at the counsel, advice, and purpose of an individual who is guilty against rebelling and transgressing against the word. A lot of things. A lot of people feel about a lot of things. A lot of people got a lot of things to say about a lot of people, and niggas be flawed. Now, I was talking about this earlier, and I'm just beyond with you. And I've told y'all this on numerous occasions. A lot of the stuff that you see people who do in his word, whether it be with the arguing, wanting to be seen, things of that sort. Shalom, Brother Reynolds. It's because they have low self-esteem. People have a very, very poor view of themselves. So that allows some individuals to have an elevated view of themselves. Most individuals are not accustomed to someone who is who they say they are. And when I say that, meaning that they don't really care what you think, feel, or have to say about them. They do not seek to curry your favor. They are who they say they are. That doesn't mean that they don't make errors, this, that, there, and the third, but they are who they say they are. Most people aren't who they say they are. Most individuals are broken, miserable, injured, anxious, a multitude of different thought processes that do not allow them to be who they really are. Most individuals are scared to be who they really are because they're worried about if people will reject them for who they actually are. That's why people create caricatures of themselves. You can see this all through the landscape of social media, whether the individual is in the word or not. And that's where that comes in. That's why he tells you, don't, and we're going to see that in a moment when we get to Titus. This is why he tell you, don't take the counsel of the ungodly. These people are hostile. They have a problem with Elohim, which means they can't even be honest with themselves because they can't even be honest towards the man who gives them life. Hold on. Y'all know when we had the children out there last week, I asked them to breathe in deep so they can understand the breath that you breathe is the breath of Yahuwah. That's not of your own. You got men telling women they goddesses. Women want you to believe that, and it's the man who give life. And how do we know that? Because the seed is the word of Elohim, because Elohim give life. Because that's all that a man giving life is showing you and replicating, that Yahuwah is the one who gives life. But see, that's a whole nother conversation. Because as I told you before, the lack of reverence and respect for men ain't really got anything to do with men. It has to do with their disdain and hatred for who the man is in the image of, which is the living Elohim. They have a problem with Yahushua. They got a problem with Yahuwah. They're hostile towards him. This is why they're pressed to be acknowledged as a goddess. That's why they want you to acknowledge them as a goddess. So by proxy, you can be an idolater. See, that goes into what's in Ezekiel. That's a whole nother conversation. But I'm just trying to sit back and look at on a different perspective, if you would, of what is actually being conveyed in the world. So that's why and on the natural side, when you see so many men flocking to dudes who they deem to be masculine, and women can't understand, well, why are you listening to this person? This person said this, or this person said that. Is because the perspective and the view of masculinity is so scant in the world that a lot of men get extremely excited when they see it, which in the actuality and reality for most of them, that's very feminine in and of itself, because you're supposed to be able to look at man and respect what he's doing. A young lady I know asked me, like, oh, this person said this. I say, baby, just because a man says something, like, I don't have to agree with everything a man says. That doesn't diminish the parts of what the man says that I may agree with, because that's how you show the faultiness of how people think, that they'll look for, try to find something to say, oh, if you don't agree with this on this matter with this person, that invalidates everything that they're talking about, and you can cast them away. See, that's feminine. That's what women do. Men don't do that. It's only one person on this earth who I agree with in completion, and that is Yahuwah. And I can say that on this earth because his Ruach is in the earth. So because his Ruach is in the earth, he is in the earth. I agree with him on every matter. There's not a single solitary thing that Yahuwah has done, will do, has said, or will say that I disagree with. Not one, not a solitary word, not a single solitary matter. I agree with everything that he does because his ways are just and righteous. There's absolutely nothing wrong with what Yahuwah does. And if you got a problem with Yahuwah, take it up with him. Nevertheless, verse 18, John chapter 7, I'll read 17 again. If any man will do his will, he shall know of the doctrine, whether it be of Elohim or whether I speak of myself. He that speak of himself, seek his own esteem. He that seek his esteem, that sin him, the same is true, and there's no unrighteousness in him. Did not Moses give you the law? Yet none of you keep the law. Why go you about to kill me? The people answered and said, you have a devil. Who go about to kill you? Yahushua answered and said unto them, I have done work, and you all marvel. Moses therefore gave unto you circumcision, not because it is of Moses, but of the fathers. And you on Shabbat day circumcise a man. If a man on Shabbat receives circumcision at the law of Moses should not be broken, are you angry at me because I've made a man every whit whole on Shabbat? Judge not according to appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Then said some is not this he whom they seek to kill? But lo, he speak boldly, and they say nothing unto him. Do the rulers know indeed that this is the very Mashiach? Howbeit we know this man whence he is, but when Mashiach come, no man know whence he is. Now see, I mentioned that there because you got these people who are sitting here listening to these people. Listening to the scribes, and of course he was in the verse 49 in this very same chapter. He said, he that don't know the law is cursed. See, when you go back to the beginning of Matthew chapter 5, he begins to enumerate the things that make an individual blessed. And then he tells you your righteousness must exceed the scribes and the Pharisees. Now, he also told you that they sit in Moses' seat. And he said everything that they say, do, but don't do after their works. Well, why is this important? Because those men are ungodly. You can't get no advice and purpose from them. See, he made mention of that in Matthew 15 when he was telling you about the things that these men would tell people to do if they dishonored their father. If they had done this or they had done that. See, there's no blessing for you when you take the advice or purpose from a wicked individual. See, all that stuff when people be like, oh, you can get wisdom from anybody. That's nigga talk. Now, don't get me wrong. Somebody can give you good wisdom at any time, but it's the epitome of a damn fool. If you go around here and seek counsel and advice and purpose from people who are hostile towards Elohim, there's something wrong with you. That means you would be the opposite of what the text says. You could not be blessed. There's no way that you could be blessed according to the word. It's not my personal opinion, even not my thoughts. You can take and do whatever you want to with it. But that man said, blessed is he that seek not the counsel of the ungodly. That's not what I said. That's not my personal opinion. My personal opinions do not matter. They don't matter. Why are you seeking advice and purpose from somebody who has a hatred against your own father? Let's sit that in your brain unless you don't see Yahuwah as your father. Then, of course, you wouldn't have that familial tie to look at him in this way like, this nigga got a problem with my dad. Now, unfortunately, many of you here may not have that type of relationship with your father that would draw that type of ire and offense. Because most people who are going to give you counsel and advice and purpose, it's going to be a purpose that's going to cause you to go awry of your father. A majority of the time. Now, of course, we know there's no 100% with that. But let's be honest with ourselves for a moment. The Epistle of Titus. And you could pick this up at about verse 10. For there are many unruly, vain talkers and deceivers, especially they of the circumcision. I don't know why you think it's any different. It's a lot of unruly. Let's look at it so you can understand fully what was being said. And then you can be able to ask yourself, is what you are seeing in this present time? You don't have to take no personal opinions, just stating from your experiences, is that what you're seeing? The Greek word for unruly is anapoktos. That is someone who cannot be subjected to control, disobedient, unruly, and refractory, insubordinate, unsubdued. Let's look at refractory. Let's see what that means. And we're going to look at purposes of the text in that regard. Some good example of that. Hold on. Niggas around here being a miscreant. You don't want to be dealing with no miscreants. Nigga get you messed up in the game. Somebody who is refractory is stubborn or unmanageable. You know, when you turn around and basically you're dealing with somebody who is just completely and utterly rebellious. Don't want to follow, don't want to listen, don't want to do nothing. Now sit there and ask yourself this here about many brews who you see with. See, we get caught up on outward appearance. But how many, because you can't go by what you see on the internet. You have to go by the individuals that you've actually been around who are talking the word. He said there are many unruly and vain talkers. They're not subjecting themselves unto the word, yet they're talking about it. I'll get you Psalms 50 real quick, like for an example. That's the first thing came to my brain. We ain't gonna go all the way through Psalms 50 right now. We'll save that for another day. Ain't like we ain't never did it before. Psalms 50 and 17. Make it 16. Psalm 60 and 16. You know what? I'll back it up to verse 7 for the complete context of what Yahuwah is letting be known in this matter. Hear my people, and I will speak, O Yasharal. I will testify against you. I am Elohim, even yo Elohim. I will not reprove you for sacrifices or burnt offerings to have been continually before me. He said, I'm not going to check you about it. I will take no bullock out of your house, nor he goes out of your folds. Every beast of the forest is mine, and the cattle upon 1,000 hills. I know all the fowls of the mountains and the wild beasts of the field are mine. If I were hungry, I would not tell you. For the world is mine and the fullness thereof. Will I eat the flesh of bulls or drink the blood of goats? Offer unto Elohim thanksgiving, pay your vows unto the Most High, and call upon me in the day of trouble, and I will deliver you, and you shall esteem me. But unto the wicked Elohim say, what have you to do to declare my statutes, or that you should take my covenant in your mouth, seeing that you hate instruction and cast my words behind you? He say to the wicked, who are you to speak of me when you hate to be corrected and you take my words and place them behind you? When you take that man's words and place them behind you, they have no bearing to you. That means you are going to be completely and utterly stubborn and obstinate. For the sake of time, we know that Saul was stubborn and obstinate. The man was unruly. But yet he felt like he could go speak in this man's name. He was completely unruly. Eli's sons, completely unruly. Scribes and Pharisees, completely unruly. Not all of them, but some of them. Completely unruly. These are individuals who talk, but they refuse to be subjected and be controlled under the fashion of the words of Elohim. Then what you see a whole bunch of men always complaining about women in this modern time, that they're unruly. See, this is the thing. You don't try to force your rule on somebody who does not want to be ruled. That's just stupid. That makes no sense. I don't even know why dudes do that. You can't force somebody to be under your rule. They don't want to follow. Screw them. That's it. It's just that simple. You stressing yourself out. Well, Yahuwah ain't never stressed himself out about this people. He said, yeah, you brought sadness to his heart because he had compassion on you. He didn't want to pop your skull. But nevertheless, skulls got popped. Because the man ain't with it. Returning back to the epistle of Titus, and let's take a look at vain, and that should be pretty self-explanatory. When we've got vain talkers, you have Matalagos, and that is an idle talker, one who utters empty and senseless things. Come over here to the book of Job. To the book of Job. I'm trying to remember where that is. Book of Job. Job 15. Job 15. 15 and 1, if you would. Job 15 and 1. Then answered Eliphaz the Temanite and said, should a wise man utter vain knowledge and fill his belly with the east wind? Now you got to ask yourself that question. Should a wise man utter vain knowledge? Now in this one here, right, you got ruach that's used for vain. So you get a little different execution in this here. A little different execution. But of course, in this one here, you would look at that and you would take that as breath. Should a wise man utter the breath of knowledge? And should he fill his belly with the east wind? When we look at east wind, you got Kadem. You got Kuf, Dalit, God, and me. So we're already seeing the last Adam sacrifice and shed his blood. That's how he was able to fill his belly with the east wind. Because he uttered or had the Ruach to utter his knowledge. Take us back to what we talked about in Job 20. Let's take this off in verse 3. Should he reason with unprofitable talk or with speeches whereif he can do no good? When we look at unprofitable, You have Sakan, but you know it's to be use of service, profit or benefit. He is a steward. There's someone who is serviceable, to be used, to be want, to exhibit, or to show harmony, to be familiar with, or to know intimately. Which takes us back to what we use in John chapter 7, that he that speak of him that sent him, the same is true, and there's no unrighteousness in him. Then it takes with speeches that do no good or have no profit. Ya'al, Yad, Ayin, and Lamad. Sit there and ask yourself that when we look at what a lot of brews have to expound with the word. Are they speaking with profitable conversation? Are there speeches that you can get a gain from? He said, you cast off fear and restrain prayer before Elohim, for your mouth utter your iniquity, and you choose the tongue of the crafty. Your own mouth condemn you, and not I, yea, your own lips testify against you. Now, verse 7 goes into something else. We're gonna steer clear of that for the moment. So you have a lot of men who speak senseless things. That's why I tell y'all not to go back and forth with banter of things of no consequence. Wise man ain't got no business doing that. Why would you do that? He tells you this now. There's many vain and unruly talkers and deceivers. Many men who are not under subjection, who speak things of no consequence and tell lies. Or seducers, if you will, a mind deceiver, a misleader. Let's continue in verse 11 of the epistle of Titus. He said, whose mouths must be stopped, who subvert whole houses, teaching things which they ought not, for filthy lucre sake. He said their mouths must be stopped. They need to be put a bridle. They need to be reduced to silence. Nigga, shut up. But guess what these brews tell you? Man, you know, we all out here, we got to wake the people up. See, that's that nigga talk. Because that's not how these boys felt. Them boys ain't care nothing about. He say, especially them brews. He say, especially them. He said, boy, these boys out here telling lies and subverting. Y'all know what it means to subvert somebody's house? Y'all know what it means to subvert somebody's house? That means to overthrow it, to overturn it, to destroy it. Now, we just talked a couple weeks ago when they tell you that love edifies or builds a foundation. I mean, the love of Elohim would build something in a house. These niggas out here tearing houses down. They tearing houses down. Subvert means to overthrow, to destroy, to bring to ruin. The man said they coming through talking about nothing, not subject to the living Elohim, seducing and misleading people to destroy people's houses for money. But now these boys ain't even doing it for money. In 2021, these boys doing this thing for a little bit of attention. Well, you know how much whole energy you got to have in you to be seeking attention as a grown man. That means you need a therapist, boy. Because you ain't going to be able to do nothing for you till you get your mind and your heart clear. His word ain't going to be able to penetrate to you because you a man with a female spirit. Nigga, you's a whole out here. Man, what's wrong with you, nigga? Have a grown man look like walking around courting attention. A look at me type nigga. Nigga, what's wrong with you? You a whole man. What you want somebody to look at you for? You want somebody to tell you you're cute? Tell you you're handsome? That what you're looking for? You want somebody to pat you on your back? Nigga, let the Lord pat you on your back. Nigga, pat yourself on your back and keep on going. What's wrong with you? That's why a lot of these dudes need to be stopped, man, because they're here looking for attention. Their mama ain't give it to them. That's why I say, man, one thing for certain, two things for sure, man. You got kids, man, especially boys, you need to give them some attention, boy. That's how you breed whole niggas. When I'm talking about whole niggas who are a man, when we say that this nigga's acting like a hoe because he's emotionally unrestrained. He's led by his emotions. He's acting like a woman. And guess what? Women don't like to say it in these political times, but I've told you this before, and they'll tell you that they don't want no man who act like no woman. They don't find that attractive. They'll let him take care of her because she can run over him. They don't like it. Don't do nothing for him. They don't do nothing for him. And she definitely not going to listen to you. We have to make sure that we get that stuff right, man. There's too many dudes walk around here with female energy. Don't let the people tell you about balance yourself, yin and yang, and all that old sucker punk whole stuff these niggas got going on. Nigga, you a man. You ain't got no business thinking, acting, or moving like no woman. Ain't no man shouldn't even be comfortable in no whole stuff and in no whole space. You should. That junk ain't cool. There's a lot of niggas do a lot of whole stuff out here in these streets, man. That's why a lot of niggas dead. That's why a lot of people done got beat up. Cause you come around men acting like women. And ain't no group of men gonna respect you when you around here doing whole stuff. Don't let the people gas you up, man. Keep the proper principles like you was given as a jit if your people gave them to you. Don't be around here trying to fit in with these people out here, man. Yeah, don't be trying to fit in with these people. They ain't worth fitting in with. Titus, man, Epistle of Titus, man, verse 12. They ain't worth fitting in with. One of themselves, even a prophet of their own, said the Cretians are always liars, evil beasts, and slow bellies. He called them a slow belly. Of course, that's somebody who is lazy, shunning the labor which one ought to perform. I mean, that's somebody who's supposed to be out here. Pause. Luke chapter 9. Let's just take a look at this here, right? Luke 9. What I want, by 60. This one here also gonna show you 9 and 57. This one here gonna show you a lot of dudes ain't fit for the kingdom, man. A lot of dudes ain't fit for the dominion of Elohim because they slow bellies. The labor that they ought to perform, they won't get up and go do it. Just like the parable when the two sons, and he said, which one did his will? One said, I'll go, but he didn't go. One said, I ain't gonna go, but he did go. The one who said that I'll go, but didn't go because he didn't feel like going. Now we all know this here. Every last one of us know this here. That there are days where you don't feel like doing something. But the hallmark of greatness is to get up and go do it anyway, because it got to be done. No matter how we were just talking about that the other day. No matter how you feel, like they doing that big deal about that tennis girl because she don't want to talk to the media because of her mental health. I don't care nothing about that crap. Nigga, bump that hoe. You know why I say that? Because when Kyrie Irving or any other player didn't want to do it, they bashed them boys. And they ran them through the ringer and talked about them like mud. But I'm supposed to feel sorry for her because she's a woman? Absolutely not. You want to play, you want to be on big time sports and you want to make big time money and deal with the things that come along with it. I don't care nothing about your social anxiety because they didn't care about Brandon Marshall's social anxiety. They didn't care about Ricky Williams' social anxiety. So why should I care about yours? You still gonna have to perform and you still gonna have to go stand in front of these people because you signed a contract to do so. So if that's the same, see, that's what equality gonna bring you. See, if that's the same thing that went along for Kyrie Irving, if that's what went along for Marshawn Lynch, if that's what happened for Brandon Marshall and Ricky Williams, then that's the same thing gonna happen to Osaka. I don't feel sorry for you. I don't want no rule to be changed. I gotta change rules for you because you bleed once a month, because you a lady, and I gotta take account your feelings. Nigga, bump your feelings. You know what I'm talking about? You want to stand out here and you want to operate how men operate, and you got to take the pressure that men got to take, just like we got to take. Simple as that. If you don't want the pressure, then don't get in the arena. And see, that's the thing when you know what I'm talking about? Why there's a difference of why women can't do what men do. Because when that pressure comes, you don't want allowances for you because you find out that you're not meant for that. And that's fine. But you can't expect me to allow for you what is not allowed for me, or for me to have sympathy for you when you're faced with the same thing that I'm faced with. I'm not going to have any sympathy for you because ain't nobody going to have any sympathy for me. Y'all remember when we were downtown, and I've been told you that when you see homeless people, you don't see too many women out there. Don't nobody care nothing about no man sleeping on the street. Don't nobody care about him. Don't nobody care if you fail. Don't nobody care about your mental health. Don't nobody care. Now, I'm not saying that I don't care about her mental health per se, but I don't care about it in the performance of the construct of your job. When somebody of a opposite gender faced with the same thing and you ridicule, it wasn't even the fact that they ridiculed it. It was the fact that it was a black man. See, if it had been any other man, they would have destroyed him like that. See, I mentioned it because they don't give a damn about you. So you need to stop caring about what they think and operating in their spaces and make sure that you do things for the benefit of yourselves and your families first, and then the men in your immediate vicinity. I told you this before. Most black dudes make the problem that You want to go on something national and a worldwide scale, and you got to deal with the people who are around you first. You build from within, and then you build out. And that's just simple building. If you know how to build anything, you can't start building something in Dallas and you in Baltimore. You got to start in Baltimore and expand your way out. You have to start with things on the Eastern Seaboard before you can start going southwest. See, we feel like, well, we got to help all the brews in the country. Help all the brews. How about you just help the brews in your assembly? The brews that you're near. Then once y'all become a tight unit, then you can help other brews in your city. Then in your state. Then in the state over. That's how that works. That's how you know that just most of these niggas just be talking. You know what I'm saying? And the greatest way to do anything is to just have a family, a strong family with a strong man and a humble and serving woman, and have children and serve and raise them in the fear of Yahuwah. That's the biggest power move that you can make. We've already had this conversation before. That's the greatest revolutionary act that you can make. You should know that, since they don't want people to be married. Y'all around here thinking these white folks want you to be married. These people don't care if you married or not, because they're going to make money off of you whether you get married or not. But people don't make money like that off of you getting married. There's no money and no marriage license for them. I'm talking about the government. Ain't no money for them, because they still going to tax you whether you're married or not. So that doesn't mean anything for them. Oh, well, they get you with a divorce. They're getting a little bit of change out of the divorce. They ain't getting a whole gang of money out of that, boy. But you lose your soul, though. You know what I'm talking about? They don't want you to be married. They don't want you to be married because you can't build a family unit with family, culture, lineage, direction that's passed down from generation to generation that won't participate in their folly. That's what you're missing. They want you to participate in the folly. If the woman over here and the man over there, then guess what? It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. And if the woman feel like, I don't need this man, I don't want to listen to this man, I don't want to be married to this man, then that's not gonna work. Who gonna want to marry that? Who gonna want to be with that? Who gonna want to put their seed in that? Just mentioning that, you know the seed more valuable than the egg, because the eggs run out. A man's seed don't never run out. Unless he's sterile. And that's an example, praise Yahuwah, of how the word don't run out. Because he tell you the word of Yahuwah continues forever. Now, of course, we know men don't live forever, but a man produces seed forever. The word is produced forever. Doesn't stop. It's continual. It's something that he shows you in the midst of how he creates things, that he is who he says he is. It's the small things that you know that Yahuwah is the living Elohim that we overlook. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm trying to express. This ain't about looking at just man versus a woman. This, you understand, Yahuwah is Elohim. He is your God, even your God, just like what we read in the song. He's your Elohim. What do you mean? What do you mean? And the world is hostile against him. Let's not be hostile. Luke 9:57. And it came to pass that as they went in the way, a certain man came unto him, Lord, I will follow you wherever you go. Yahushua said unto him, foxes have holes and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man have not where to lay his head. He said unto another, follow me. But he said, Lord, suffer me first to go bury my Abba. Yahushua said unto him, let the dead bury their dead. Go you and preach the reign and dominion of Elohim. Another also said, Lord, I will follow you, but let me first go bid them farewell, which are at home at my house. Yahushua said unto him, no man having putting his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the dominion of Elohim. You got to look at what this man talking about. He's talking about a complete and utter focus and devotion to a task. You worrying about the people at your house. You worrying about a dead nigga. But that's my daddy. Who cares who it is, nigga? You want to go do something when you feel like going to do it versus, boy, you got to go get this done. It ain't about you and what you want to do. It's about what he wants done and how he wants it done. He wants it done. That man said, you ain't fit looking back, boy. He trying to tell you, don't be no slow belly. Don't be lazy, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? He said them Christians, they slow bellies. You know what I'm talking about? That would go back to that conversation. I'm telling you, Bruce be taking weeks off, Sabbaths off. You was a slow belly, nigga. Ain't no man under no direct dominion and rule of the living Elohim taking days off. How you say you following the Lamb everywhere he go and you taking days off? Make it make sense. We be cool with that stuff though. You be talking about these people of Elohim and serve Elohim. Nigga, you lying to me. That's when you talking about you gotta have your own life. What about the prayer? I don't want to hear that crap, nigga. Nigga, sell that junk to somebody else. How you a serving the Elohim and you under stress? Make that make sense. How you got a Ruach of Yahuwah in you and you stressed out from doing his labor? Make that make sense. Boy, you lying, boy. You lying, boy. But if you got the Ruach Elohim and you ain't never supposed to be straight joy in your spirit, boy, who you think you talking to? You can tell that to somebody that don't know no better. You ain't gonna sell it to me. Are you gonna have down days? You a human. We already talked about that. In 20 last week, praise Yahuwah. That man say the chastening of my mind, he said, caused my ruach of understanding for the answer. He sit back and look at the correction. Well, hold on, man, I'm bugging. I got to answer according to the word. I could be down, I could be sad, I could be whatever. But Yahuwah is still faithful. Let me get on and do what this man sent me to do. And I ain't just got to do with no preaching. Let's get up and do what this man commanded you to do. And whatever he commanded you to do in whatever moment. Not because you feel down and you sad, I don't feel nothing, stop being lazy. That's the problem with this whole generation of people. Niggas lazy. And you think somebody's supposed to be comfortable with you being lazy because you shunning the labor that you ought to perform. That's what you just seen right here. He telling them, don't shun the labor you ought to perform. That's what we see with most people when it comes with the word. They want to shun the labor they're supposed to perform. They don't want to put their hand to the plow. With that being said, Matt, Luke 12, I'll read it anyway. I thank the Lord. We taking a slow burn because I got Yahuwah willing. I got today. I got Friday. I got Saturday afternoon. I got Sunday afternoon. So I ain't in no rush. 12 and 41. 12 and 41. Luke. Then Peter said unto him, Lord, speak you this parable unto us or even to all? The Lord said, who is this faithful and wise steward? Amen indeed. Whom his Lord shall make ruler over his house to give him their portion in due season. Baruch is that servant whom the Lord, when he comes, shall find so doing. Of a truth, I say unto you that he will make him ruler over all that he hath. But and if that servant say in his heart, my Lord, delay his coming, shall begin to beat the men servants and the maidens, and to eat and drink and to be drunken, the Lord of that servant will come in a day when he look not for him, and at an hour when he is not aware, he will cut him asunder and will appoint him his portion with the unbeliever. So if you slow to your labor, that man say he gonna send you to hell. So what he say he gonna do? Oh, you say he ain't coming? Don't worry about it. I got something for you. And the servant which knew his Lord's will and prepared not himself, neither did according to his will, shall be beaten with many stripes. But he that knew not and did commit things worthy of stripes shall be beaten with a few stripes. Unto whomsoever much is given of him of shall be much required, and to whom men have committed much, of him will they ask the more. And be no slow belly. You got to get up and do this labor. Let's get these things, Brother Reynolds put up here just a general principle so y'all can see what it is. Okay, Luke 18 and 1, that's a little different. That's a little different. So we ain't gonna use that one now. But I know I can use the 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and the Galatians 6. I know I can use those. 2 Corinthians 4 and 1. And that first part, especially dealing with somebody who has service with the word, but you have to look at it even if you're not servicing someone with the word, but just performing your service, period. Therefore, seeing we have this service, we have received mercy, we faint not. We have renounced the hidden things of dishonesty, not walking in craftiness, nor handling the word of Elohim deceitfully, like we already read in Titus, but by manifestation of truth, committing ourselves to every man's conscience in the sight of Elohim. But if our good news be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, and whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of their esteemed good news of Mashiach, who is the image of Elohim, should shine unto them. For we preach not ourselves, but Mashiach Yahushua the Lord, and ourselves your servants for Yahushua's sake. For Elohim hath commanded the light to shine out of darkness, have shined in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the esteem of Elohim and the face of Yahushua HaMashiach. So you look at this here, right? Of course, we'll keep it brief. He's saying you got individuals, if they lost, it's because Satan done blinded their mind. They ain't supposed to know it. Because if they did, he said that light of that gospel would shine through, and they would know that Mashiach is in the image of his Father, and that they don't preach themselves, but they preach Mashiach. Going back to what we read in John 7. Going back to blessed is those who don't receive counsel from the ungodly, nor sit in the seat of the scornful, nor walk in the way of sinners. Why am I going to walk in the same manner of life as a rebel? You're not blessed. Who told you that? And that ain't no Christian ethos. That's Hebrew stuff. See, we like to put a lot of stuff on Christians and Hebrews and putting that stuff out there, because that's what he was telling them in Matthew 15. That's what Yahushua was telling them in Matthew 23. But we like to put everything on Christians. Stop putting all that stuff on them people, but that's deflection, that whole stuff. Go ahead and take credit for what type of time you was on. Because if you want to act like this people been dropping unadulterated righteousness and truth, then why in the world are you in a strange land among strange people, speaking a strange language, serving a strange God? Why is that the case? You're lying, boy. You're lying to yourself. That's the worst type of lie. You ain't being honest with yourself. That's why you can't be honest with your people. That's why your people still in the same state. Because you trying to prove Christianity wrong versus proving that Yahushua is the son of the living Elohim, who is a damn about a Christian and what they got going on. Why you focusing on another nigga and what they doing when you supposed to be focusing on the mission? That's whole stuff. Because you spending time talking about the wrong people. I don't care about people. Them people want to sit in there, sing, clap, and dance, and learn absolutely nothing. That's their business. I do not care. If they want to walk through Catholic mass and burn smoke and touch little boy booty holes, now we care about that. Don't touch the little boys. That just ain't right. You know what I'm talking about? You want to worship idols and all that other type of stuff? That's your business. I don't care. I don't care what no Muslim doing on Juma. I don't care what no Jewish person doing when they go call themselves serving you. I don't care what the people doing. And I ain't finna spend my time trying to prove them wrong. I got too much word to prove you who are right. To be worried about trying to prove somebody else wrong. Because if you prove you who are right, by proxy, you gonna prove them niggas wrong. Stupid. That's common sense. If you got the truth, you ain't got to spend your time proving them wrong. They're gonna be proved wrong just by your utter presence. Just by the other doctrine that you teach, they're gonna be proved wrong. You ain't got to do all that. That's why the people ain't getting right, because you focusing on people who don't matter. Because you was hurt, because you was in the church 15 years and they lied to you. Nigga, get over it. You was lied to, my G. Give thanks to Yahuwah in the name of Yahushua. You got a chance to learn the truth and come up out of lie instead of be walking around here with your panties in a bunch mad because you was in lies for 10 years. Clearly that was the will of Yahuwah. So is you mad that you was in lies, or you mad because Yahuwah let you believe a lie? Maybe he let you believe a lie so you would know the truth when you see it, but you ain't got enough common sense in your brain to understand that level of instruction. We ain't got enough sense for it. We ain't got enough sense for it. Who cares? They I lived in lies for 28 years. I ain't walking around here like, man, why I was in these lies. Who cares? You got a chance for your soul to be saved and you worrying about lies you was in. Come on, man. Make that make sense. That don't even make any sense. When you sit back and you think about it three-dimensionally, who cares? Who cares? Man, they got us serving Christmas. So what? You ain't doing it now. So who cares? I know dudes who used to pack guns, shoot guns, sell dope, rob, steal, do all type of stuff. They ain't doing it now. They got bad information where they grew up at. They ain't sitting around, man, this boy lied to me, man. I wish to have my life selling drugs. That boy like this here, man, that boy what it was. I learned what I learned. I'm a better man for it. I ain't worrying about what's behind me. Ain't that's what the book tell you? You Lot's wife. You steady looking behind you. Look in front of you. You had to come up out of something to be able to acknowledge it, unless you was born to be in the word from the jump street, which is a blessing, which is what most of your offspring have experienced. That's what they had a chance to deal with. You had to go through what you go through to be able to give them that. But you can't appreciate that. That's what's wrong with niggas. They don't appreciate nothing. Galatians chapter 6. They don't appreciate nothing. Don't appreciate nothing. 6 and 5. We don't appreciate nothing. All we want to do is complain. Big grown nigga complaining all the time. Man, all the lies we had to unlearn. So what? So what? You learned wrong. You learned better. Do better. Stop worrying, but stop crying. Junk ain't cool. Ain't a good look. Stop crying all the time. Every man shall bear his own burden. Let him that is taught in the word communicate unto him that teach in all good things. Be not deceived. Elohim is not mocked. For whatsoever man sow, that shall he also reap. For he that sowed to his flesh shall of his flesh reap corruption. And he that sowed to the Ruach shall of the Ruach reap life everlasting. Let us not be weary and well doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. As we have therefore opportunity, let us do good unto all. That men is not there. It just says all. Especially unto them who are the household of the faith. That goes back to what I was talking about beforehand, man. You got to look out for people who are in the house first. Right, the epistle of Titus 1. You got to look out for the people who are in the house first. We think just because, going out to feed homeless people who ain't in the word, that's cool. But if it's somebody homeless who in the household of the faith and you ain't fed them, what that say about you? What that say about you? So you're going to let somebody starve in your house to look good in front of strangers. That's what type of time we on. That's the destructiveness of the internet. Some people feel like it's a good thing. We can reach other people, spread this word, but it done allowed a lot of whole niggas to get shine they shouldn't get. It's allowed a lot of whole stuff to proliferate throughout the earth. It is a blessing to be able to reach out to other people of like mind, to be able to connect with them. Don't get that twisted. It's also allowed a lot of foul stuff to go out here, man. A lot of foul stuff. Let's finish this out, man. Pick this up in verse 13 of the epistle, Titus. This witness is true, wherefore rebuke them sharply that they may be sound in the faith. That man said, go ahead and straighten them, bro. And he said, do it sharply. Sharply in this instance is severely, curtly. And remember, Yahushua said he was an austere man. That man said, rebuke them sharply. See, a lot of people don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that. And that's to convict, to refute, to find fault with, or to correct. To correct them sharply. Again, one more time for sharply, severely, abruptly. If you know what abrupt means, that means had to hit the brakes. So they can be sound in the face, sound meaning healthy. You can't be healthy and well and be able to have mercy and be strong if ain't nobody gonna let you know that you in the wrong. See, that goes back to again that statement of protect in public and correct in private. That's female talking points. Because ain't no man in the history of manhood ever been on that type of time. That's female stuff. Because females don't want to be ashamed. That's why they tell you that. That's why they tell you that. Sometimes people have to be put to shame. So if you got to get put to shame, because you have to look at it, you can't flaunt and be disrespectful and dishonorable in public and then think somebody gonna call, I'll talk to him later when we get to the house. Absolutely not. Because now you've made me look weak in front of others. Now these individuals can be able to know that I don't have to do anything. An example of that is, of course, with whatever that lady name is. Her name escapes me right now. But Xerxes and Queen Vashti. They rebuked her sharply in front of others. They couldn't let that slide. There couldn't be no correct in private because her disrespect was public. It had ramifications. Yes, she did. She got checked right then and there. She got rebuked sharply. They couldn't let that slide because it would have had devastating a reverberal effect throughout that entire kingdom. That goes what he tell you in 1 Samuel. Those who don't esteem Yahuwah, he will lightly esteem you. He'll find you contemptible. He said, under pure, not giving heed to Jewish fables and the commandments of men that turn from the truth. Under the pure, all things are pure, but under them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure. But even their mind and conscience is defiled. They profess that they know Elohim, but in works they deny him, being abominable and disobedient unto every good word, reprobate. That's why you're not blessed if you're taking counsel of the ungodly. Absolutely, women would have followed suit, which is exactly what we see in our world right now. What they were telling Xerxes not to allow in his kingdom is what you see in the Western world right now. Women don't feel like they have to honor and respect their husbands. They don't feel like they have to do it. They feel like the man should place her upon a pedestal and worship her. That's how Yasharal feels, that you should be worshiped, that you should be honored and esteemed and being God chosen people, irregardless of your conduct, irregardless of your execution of faith. You don't care. Don't you know? Be Israel. You want to be pedestalized. Nigga not pedestalizing you, cuz. Pedestalize, put you on a pedestal for what? What have you done to earn that type of status? You think you're supposed to get it by mere means of your existence? Because you come from the loins of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? That's why John the Baptist tell you, he said, man, don't take you got Abraham to your father. He said, because Elohim was able to raise up sons out of these stones under Abraham. Oh, no. Oh, no. Yeah. The same things that you upset about women with, that's what you doing. That's why you ain't got no business complaining about what they doing, because you're doing it to Yahuwah. I don't know how many weeks I have to keep using that example. Some people, they only get caught up because he said something about a woman. I ain't talking about no woman. I'm talking about Yasharal. If your woman ain't straight, that's your problem. You get her straight. She don't want to get straight, then get her gone. Because that's what Yahuwah did. He took time to get her gone, get her right. She don't want to get right, she got to take flight. As simple as that, you got to go. You're not going to dwell here because I don't have to put up with it. I won't put up with it. You got to understand something. I give you life. You think I'm going to allow you to be insubordinate and disrespectful and disobedient to me? That man say you've been stubborn and obstinate from the day that he met you, and he still suffered you with much long suffering and love, much correction and mercy to be able to feed you with a word that you might turn from your wicked way. And you told not to. So we say, let me testify against you. What fault you done found with me? I got a controversy against you. What wickedness have I done to you? That's why you got to be careful as a man not to be around here using female talking points, aka sinner talking points. Don't be around here talking like no sinner, thinking like no sinner, trying to use sinner examples to justify wickedness. Don't do it. And for anybody who trying to be simple, ain't nobody calling no woman no sinner. So if you think that's what's being said, you need to get your head checked. What I'm talking about is women have talking points that are exclusive to women. Sinners have talking points that's exclusive to sinners. Don't use sinner talking points like a man shouldn't be using female talking points. You're a man. Speak like a man. You godly. Speak like godly people talk. Nevertheless, verse 2, Psalms 1. But his delight is in the Torah of Yahuwah, and in his Torah do he meditate day and night. He shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water that bring forth his fruit in his season. His leaf shall not wither. Whatsoever he do, he shall prosper. The ungodly are not so, but they're like the chaff which the wind drive away. Therefore, the ungodly shall not stand in judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For Yahuwah know the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. Yahuwah willing on Shabbat. We're going to revisit all that. But I just want to sit back and have you look at what y'all already know what tree this is. Somebody on here tell me what tree it is. I know somebody can tell me what tree it is on general principle. And he say this is a tree that's planted by the river. That's an easy one for you. And you bring forth his fruit in his season. What tree is he talking about? And I would much prefer if you can give a scriptural citing to support your declaration, if all possible, if you are so inclined and able to do so. Yes, sir. But do you have a scriptural validation for your proclamation? Do you have that on hand for me there, good sir? I will accept it. That is one of them. Can anyone give me another? You have one similar reference to what's in Psalms 1 in another place, but it doesn't detail it directly. You have another reference in the prophets, and you do have a reference in the New Testament. Yes, sir. Good, sir. That's right. Good, sir. Revelation 22. And then, of course, you have a reference in the prophets, and then you have a similar reference to Psalms 1, which alludes to the said tree of life. And do you know where that's at? The question was, what tree was this referring to in Psalms 1? Brother Sean has already dropped the answer on that, and then scriptural references to back it. Stanley has given us the Genesis 2, and Sean has given us the Revelation 22. Can someone give me the reference in the prophets to go along with the Genesis 2 to support Revelation 22? I can rock with it. I can rock with that. I can take that. I can accept that Genesis chapter 3 all day long. And anybody who recalls where this is at in the prophets, also, the tree itself is not referenced in this other prophet but I will accept that answer if it is used. You got two prophets that you can reference that at Romans 11. Daniel 4. Let me see what you got in Daniel 4. Let me see you got it right there. Daniel 4. Make sure I ain't tripping. Hold on, Each. Let me check that Romans 11. You might have something in there, but I'm gonna see. Hold on. Let me check this Daniel 4 with us. Oh, you talking about the tree? I'll allow it, Daniel. I'll allow it. The tree that got cut down and then grew back, and the branch. I'll allow it. I can rock with that Daniel 4. I can rock with it. I can vibe with it. Okay, you talking about with the branches. That's a little different right there, Ish. I can see why you could say that one now. But you know what? That's kind of similar to the Daniel 11. So I can rock with it. I can rock with it. I can rock with it. But we got two prophets, right? We got three prophets really. Now let me rephrase it so I'm clear. The Psalms 1 has an akin passage that references a tree by the water. It doesn't reference the tree of life specifically, but it has an akin passage. Let me see what you got for Proverbs 15. Let me see. We might can rock with that too. Let me see what you got. I understand why you would use that one there, because that's a little different. The wholesome tongue is as a tree of life, because if you have a healthy or good words, it's similar to the tree of life. You mentioned Ezekiel 31. You mentioned Zechariah with the tender plant. I want y'all to go look this for yourself. You go read Zechariah 14 by verse 8, and you'll see how he say that water will issue from under the throne. When you go read Ezekiel 47, you'll see the same thing, and you'll see about that tree that is planted by the river. Because those were the two prophets that I was referencing specifically. But I like your answers. Y'all were thinking, y'all were pulling stuff out to play, and I like it. And I like it because that's at the end of the day. Yes, there is a prophet that made a statement comparable to Psalms 1 and 3. Yes, sir. Because that's what I want you to do. Sometimes when I ask you questions, it's to ask you for you to ponder upon the scriptures, because that means so you can meditate on the word of Yahuwah. That's something that if Yahuwah sees fit will minister specifically to your soul, not even for the purpose of answering the question. If you never understood or knew why sometimes I ask y'all those certain particular questions, is because if you will see fit, there may be something that ministers specifically to your soul that's going to be beneficial for your effort in salvation. That is one of the major reasons for it, not just for the answer. Also, for y'all to be able to see and hear answers of others, maybe that will propel you to have a desire to go read the places that they mentioned. You know what I'm saying? It's all beneficial, because it's never really about the specific answer that I may have in mind. It's never about it. I know I tell y'all before, it's never about that. It's not even about, oh, I don't want to be wrong. It's not even about that. Because some of y'all that mentioned stuff that I ain't even had in my brain, let we go ahead and look at it and roll right in it. Let you would be esteemed. See, that's the point. See, the point is for you to get a grasp on who your creator is. And again, to reference this again, because he may allow something to minister specifically to you on what you begin to ponder on. Might not even be in that moment. Could be the next day. Could be a week later. You could look at Zechariah 14 and 8, son. And you could just read Ezekiel 47 at verse 1 and run that all the way down. The other place that I was referencing is in Jeremiah chapter 7, when he say, blessed is he that put his trust in Yahuwah. And he tell you that you're the same as a tree that is planted by a river. Tell you the same exact thing. I'm going to read it for you real quick. So what in the aspect of what you're seeing with that is, and the same thing, what was mentioned with that Proverbs 15 and 4, where a wholesome tongue is as a tree of life. That faith in the word, a belief in the word, is where the eternal life comes from, which allows you to get access to this tree of which Adam had been banned from. See, trust, hope, and obedience to Yahuwah gets you that. Because when it gets to this tree of life, we're talking about some fruit. He said you bring forth your fruit in your season. See, we getting ready to have our observing of Pentecost, which is first fruits, and that's why we referencing that, because you're looking at your fruit in this season. So I'm gonna read this Jeremiah 17 and 7. It says, Baruch is the man that trusts in Yahuwah and whose hope Yahuwah is. For he shall be as a tree planted by the waters, that spread out her roots by the river, shall not see when heat come, but her leaf shall be green. She not be careful in the year of drought. She shall never cease from yielding fruit. Never stop. Never stops. And we have that example of that because Yahushua does not cease from yielding fruit. That's another conversation for another day. Well, truthfully, for the Shabbat. I want y'all to come to Deuteronomy 28 because that is where we now begin to focus ourselves, if Yahuwah permit us to see that day, on the Shabbat. And we pick it up at verse 1 because we've taken the time before to go through the curses and see how Yahuwah took on the curses, that therefore that be able to get you salvation. But it was something in Deuteronomy 28. Deuteronomy 28 came to my mind to start to look through that last week to set us up for this here. And then I know we read something in Psalms 89 already. And then I think I ran across something in Job. Was it Job? Either way, it might have been Job, but it will gotta come back to mind. That's where we're gonna start. Zechariah 3 and 8. Mm-hmm. That's a little something different. That one I was referencing, but you can roll with that. I can roll with that. I can dig it. I can dig it. Oh, see, that's a little different. That's a little different. Brother Reynolds. Matter of fact, you could take that verse 10. Not necessarily. That's more dealing with that Genesis 8 and 22. But remind me, and we can delve into that more deeply. Just don't let me forget about it. Just remind me, and you were willing, we can take that more in depth. Now, when I say verse 10, he said, "In that day saith Yahuwah of hosts, shall he call every man his neighbor under the vine and under the fig tree." That verse 10 is referencing when when he told Philip, "I saw you under that tree." You know what I'm saying? And of course, your servant, the branch, dealing with that there, because that's something different. I can see why you say that one now. Remind me that, and we can take that more in depth later on the Shabbat too. Just don't let me forget, because y'all know my mind bad. Deuteronomy 28:1. It shall come to pass if you shall hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim to observe and to do all his commandments I command you this day. Yahuwah your Elohim shall set you high above all nations of the earth. That same thing too, John. Just remind me on that. Don't let me forget it. And we can look at that on the Shabbat as well. Now, we're going to look at how Yahushua fulfilled these 14 verses because of his obedience. Same way that he fulfilled those 15 through 68 by taking on those curses because of your disobedience, that you might have life through his obedience. Now, of course, we know that he set him on high above all nations of the earth because he's King of Kings, Lord of Lords. He has dominion from one end of the earth to the other. Yahuwah permit, we're going to dissect every single solitary one of these blessings. And when I say Yahuwah permit, that's what we're going to do, that is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to go verse by verse, one by one, with a specific and outright focus on verse 4. And all these blessings shall come on you and overtake you if you shall hearken unto the voice of Yahuwah your Elohim. I just want you to pause for a moment. I want you to think about overtake. Of course, that is nasag. That is to cause, to be able to secure. So if you obey, you will be able to secure a specific amount of blessings. You say they will overtake you. Oh, I missed the word. They'll overtake you. Where is the other one at? That's not one. Oh, come on you. I'm tripping. That's my fault. Looking at the come on you, which is strictly just both. So let's continue. Blessed shall you be in the city. Blessed shall you be in the field. Blessed shall be the fruit of your body and the fruit of your ground, the fruit of your cattle, the increase of your kind, and the flocks of your sheep. Blessed shall be your basket and your store. Blessed shall you be when you come in. Blessed shall you be when you go out. Who shall cause your enemies that rise up against you to be smitten before your face? They shall come out against you one way, they shall flee before you 7 ways. Yahuwah shall command the blessings upon you in your storehouses and all that you set your hand unto. He shall bless you in the land which Yahuwah your Elohim has given you. Yahuwah shall establish you a Kadash people unto himself, as he has sworn unto you, if you shall keep the commandments of Yahuwah your Elohim and to walk in his ways. All the people of earth shall see that you are called by the name of Yahuwah, and they shall be afraid of you. Yahuwah shall make you plenteous in goods, and the fruit of your body, and the fruit of your cattle, and the fruit of your ground, and which Yahuwah, the land which Yahuwah swear to your fathers to give you. Yahuwah shall open unto you his good treasure. Shamahin shall give you rain unto your land in his season, and to Baruch all the work of your hand, and you shall lend unto many nations and shall not borrow. Yahuwah shall make you the head and not the tail. You shall be above only. You shall not be beneath, if you hearken unto the commandments of Yahuwah your Elohim, which I command you this day to observe and to do them. So again, I just want you to ponder all these things, because we can't go in depth right now. We had our time. Because Yahuwah permit. That's what we definitely. Hallelujah for y'all who trying to work. I appreciate y'all time this evening, and bless y'all out the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua. I just want you to weigh and consider, because everything we talked about before that was just the setup to get you to that, because I want you to consider all 13 verses. Look at them, dissect them, ponder on them, meditate on them. You understand? It's for a purpose and a reason. Because Yahuwah permit, we're going to go through each one of them individually and dissect them. But I bless y'all at the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Continue to stand firm on the word. Yahuwah willing, we'll pick it up on the Shabbat, make it do what it do. And until that time, praise Yahuwah indeed.